Welcome to another video in our How Do I video series. Today you will learn how to set up Microsoft Dynamics NAV to use the document exchange service for sending and receiving electronic invoices. At the end of this video, you will know how to set up the document exchange service for the sending and receiving company. You will know how to connect both companies so they can exchange invoices. And you will know which settings in Microsoft Dynamics NAV are necessary to use the document exchange service. We will get there by going through these 4 steps. To demonstrate, it is advised to use the sandbox test environment in Tradeshift instead of the production environment. We need to create 2 Tradeshift accounts in this sandbox environment. We will set up 2 companies, one sending and one receiving company. You need to prepare 2 unique names. We use ChronoSend and ChronosReceive. For each of the companies, you need to specify a GLN number. To create a valid one to use for testing, you can go to this website. You need 2 different email addresses, one per company. Now open the website for the sandbox and register both accounts. Start by creating 2 Tradeshift accounts with 2 unique email addresses and company names. You will receive a confirmation email, which you can use to activate your account. Now that a Tradeshift account is created, we need to log in and set up some company information. When sending and receiving PayPal documents, we are going to use the GLN to identify parties. So we need to enter a valid GLN number similar for the VAT number. Notice that the GLN must be unique in the Tradeshift sandbox. So if someone else has taken a specific GLN or VAT number, then use a different one. Next, we will establish a relationship between those companies and the document exchange service. We will also install an app in the document exchange service to get an API key for usage with Microsoft Dynamics NAV. With the 2 Tradeshift accounts created, we must make the account aware of each other. First, we must invite the receiving company to connect with the sending company. We can now log into the receiving company's Tradeshift account and accept the invitation to connect. Note, an email is sent to the receiving company's Tradeshift email account and you can accept from there as well. With the company details set up for both accounts in Tradeshift, we will now install an app in Tradeshift, also for both accounts. This app allows API access to Tradeshift from Dynamics NAV. Once the app is installed, it can be called to get all the connection data required when setting up Tradeshift integration in the sending and receiving companies in Dynamics NAV. Next, we will complete the settings in Microsoft Dynamics NAV. We will test the connection and exchange an invoice. The company information must be set up to match the Tradeshift accounts for the sending and the receiving company. Therefore, we need to enter address, country, VAT registration and GLN number. We also need to add payment info by entering a SWIFT and IBAN account. The GLN is a unique identifier that is used to identify locations or functions within a location, such as a company, a factory, the accounting department of a company, a warehouse, a delivery address, etc. It is similar to using EAN for items. GLN is compliant with the ISO 6523 standard to uniquely identify organizations. A GLN can be purchased from GS1. The identifier is one of several unique identifiers that can be used by companies in B2B and B2G. Another example of unique identifier is the VAT registration number. When you perform electronic document exchange, Dynamics NAV uses the GLN, VAT registration number, or the IBAN fields in that sequence if specified to identify a party entity in the electronic exchange. We also need to identify items uniquely. Note: receiver could also use the vendor's item number through a cross-reference setup. Dynamics NAV now offers a GTIN identifier on items. In this demonstration, we will sell a bicycle item identified by item number 1000. We need to enter a valid GTIN number for this item. Likewise, the unit of measure must also be standard. For the bicycle, we will sell pieces and use the international code for pieces, which is pre-set up in the Kronos company. We now need to specify the tax category for each VAT type that is used in connection with electronic document sending. The number is based on the UNCL 5305 standard. In this demo, we will sell the bicycle item with item number 1000, so only this item needs to be supported. We then specify the tax category for each VAT type that is used in connection with the electronic document sending. In the screenshot, all normal VAT tax groups have been set up for the demo. We only need national VAT 25. Next, we need to ensure that there is a VAT scheme for the relevant countries' regions that we exchange electronic documents with. We can use the VAT registration number to uniquely identify a party in an electronic document exchange. GLN and IBAN are the other unique identifiers that we can use, and they are also supported by Dynamics NAV. If you use the VAT registration number as an identifier, you must also specify the national body that issues the VAT registration number for the country region. In Dynamics NAV, this is done by entering the VAT scheme for the country region. Note: this implies that all parties from a given country must use VAT registration numbers from the same national body. When you post a document, it is possible to print as well as send a copy to the customer. This copy can be both a hard copy, PDF, in an email, or an electronic document. For each customer, you can set up a predefined method for sending sales documents so that the end user does not have to select this every time you send and post a document. All you need to do is define a document sending profile and assign it to a specific customer. A profile can be specific for a given customer, or it can be shared reused across customers. This allows you to group customers in categories such as government, commercial, or private. For example, to control where electronic document exchange is used and in which format. The options for document sending are defined by a profile that you set up in the Document Sending Profiles window. We make a new document sending profile which we will use to interact with commercial customers electronically. First, we provide a code and a description for the new profile, then we define the sending options. When you click Post and Send on the document, it is possible to print, email, save to disk, as well as send an electronic document through a document exchange service. A profile defines the behavior for each of these options. For the print and email options, you can choose No, Yes, Prompt for Setting, and Yes, Use Default Settings. No means that the option is not enabled in the profile. Yes, Prompt for Setting means that the user can make additional settings. Yes, Use Default Settings implies that the default settings are used without prompting for settings. If you select the email option, the email attachment option becomes visible, so you can choose PDF, electronic document, or both. Note: if you choose PDF and electronic document, the two documents will be placed in a zip file. The disk option supports PDF, electronic document, and PDF and electronic document. These selections behave the same as for the email attachment option. The electronic document option supports No and through document exchange service, which out of the box is to shift. If you select the electronic document option, you must select the value in the format field which will appear below it. For each option that refers to the sending of an electronic document, a corresponding format option exists. The available electronic formats are specified in the electronic document formats window. Since we are creating a sending profile for an electronic invoicing through TradeShift customers, we will disable print email, and disk, and only use electronic document with the PEPL format. We need one default profile which is used if a customer does not have an explicit profile defined. In this demo, we only have one profile, so it has to be the default one. When you add additional profiles, for example, for commercial and private customers, only one of these can be set to the default. It is typically the profile that reflects the most typical customer type. Then we must set up the customer that we will send the invoice to. If you did not create a new customer from a customer template, you need to specify posting groups manually. Before finishing the customer setup, you need to link this customer with the document sending profile that we defined earlier. We now need to set up the integration to the Tradeshift on the sender side. All of the required data can be found in the Tradeshift account's API access. If you click Set URLs to default, please be aware that the service URL is set to the non-sandbox environment. You need to change the service URL to address the sandbox environment. Now that the service is defined, we can test it. With the service set up and tested, we can enable it. As part of enabling the service, job queue entries are created to automatically send and receive at a user-defined interval. Notice that the default job queue must be started for the entries to run. Finally, we need to ensure that the default queue is running, and if not, we need to start it manually. Before we create and send an electronic invoice from the sending company, be sure to finish the setup also for the receiving company. First, we create a new sales invoice. We will invoice to the newly created customer. Most values are filled in automatically except the sell to customer number, the line type, the item number, and the quantity. We are now ready to post and send the invoice as electronic invoice. When you click Post and Send, the document sending profile that is assigned for the customer will be used by default. A confirmation dialog informs you of what will happen. In this demo, the used profile only sends an electronic invoice through the document exchange service. It is possible to change the default behavior. Conclude by sending the invoice electronically to the document exchange service. When an invoice is sent to a document exchange service, you can track the status of the invoice. There is also an activity log where the interactions with the document exchange service can be monitored. If there are any issues connecting to the Tradeshift service, test the document exchange service setup. Also check that the job queue and the job queue entries are running. Completing this demonstration results in an entry in the receiver's incoming documents list. This requires that the sending and receiving companies have been set up correctly, and that both Tradeshift accounts are working, and that the job queues and the entries are running. Note that we can set up Dynamics NAV to automatically create incoming electronic invoices as invoices using the workflow. For now, in this demonstration, we will do this manually. Let's summarize what we've just learned. First, we did set up 2 accounts on the document exchange service. Next, we added the GLN numbers for identification. Then we established a connection between those companies. And last, we finalized the setup in Microsoft Dynamics NAV. So now you know how to create accounts on the document exchange service, how to create a connection between accounts, and how to set up a company in Microsoft Dynamics NAV to send or receive electronic invoices using the document exchange service. Please check out the other How Do I videos regarding electronic invoices for more details. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope to see you soon in one of our other How Do I videos.